welcome to the Asheville Design District podcast. I'm your host, Chandra Russell, and today I'm joined by Steve Okonski, who owns Blue Ridge Piano Company right down the street. Thank you so much for being here today, Steve.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Awesome. So you've got to tell everybody your background and how you got into this business and what you do.
Sure, yeah. So I own a piano tuning and repair company right here in Biltmore Village, and that whole practice kind of started when I was a kid. I grew up next to these pipe organ builders, and they had such a cool shop and so many cool tools and ephemera and just everything like a kid could want to just like get curious about. And they were really generous with their time and started teaching me a lot of things about rebuilding instruments and pipe organs, but just how to work with intention and integrity. And so I continue to work with them all throughout high school and college and beyond, because they do a lot of work on the road, on site at churches and universities.
Because these are huge
organs,
yeah.
And some very massive organs. And so working with them kind of led me into wanting to work on pianos and have my own business doing that, just to be able to work for myself and have something reliable.
Yeah, and you mentioned before we started filming that thinking as a trade and how your parents were in business, and yet you saw kind of this freedom that your mentors had and how they could set their schedule somewhat. They're traveling, so you kind of saw this totally different world that you were like, yes, I want that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have been exposed to the trades as early if it wouldn't have been for them. But yeah, their lifestyle, what they were doing, how they could spend their time was really inspiring. And a lot of the times that was, against the deadline and panicking and working for, 100 hours a week. But it was still on their own terms, and it was just really inspiring. And, my parents both, on top of like being in business, like would open up their own businesses from time to time too. So that was also inspiring to see how they would tackle that together. And yeah, it was just exposure to a lot of different things that I think has led me to where I am now.
Yeah, and you really need both sides in the trades. And we're sitting here in the Asheville Design District, and there's 65 businesses related to construction and building. And we kind of mentioned it's two jobs. It's doing the work, right? And then it's doing the business. And you really need kind of both things to happen.
Totally, yeah. On top of tuning a piano or fixing a piano, you need to be personable and charming, and then also be able to send receipts and file quarterly taxes and run a budget. And so those are all very disparate skills that you need to be able to do to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to definitely talk about the neighborhood, and you live and work here. So what made you guys pick this location, and what's your vision for this area? We talk a lot about what it can be and what it could be. So what you guys invested your time and money, and you're having a baby and growing your family. So this neighborhood's important to you.
Yeah. So, we moved to Asheville, my wife and I, in 2019, and then moved to this neighborhood in 2020. And we had spent a little bit time here before going to, forestry camp and Wayside and Hillman and other fun spots. But part of us moving here was just kind of a matter of circumstance. There was a house that was available that we really liked and could afford. And so we jumped on it. And the more we're here, the more we love it. And the more things we find that we enjoy, and more places that open, like Seven Clans opening up, and just, a whole bunch of new businesses seem to be happening kind of in this area.
Yeah, it's exciting to see. And Seven Clans is awesome. We're going there in a couple weeks for our little Asheville Design District monthly meetup. So you guys should come and have a beer and hang out, talking with people in the neighborhood. So we do see some things that need to happen to help it be even more enjoyable, especially for not just businesses, but the residential aspect. And I think we can agree we need sidewalks, right?
Sidewalks would be incredible because especially in Sweeten Creek, there's so many cool places to go to. When Down Dog was still there, we loved going there, but then Seven Clans and then Hillman, I went maybe 2 weeks ago to Haiku I Do, because Wednesday night they were doing an open folk.
Yes. I want to start putting that on my radar.
Which was, I had never been in before, and it's so close, and it's such an awesome place.
Yep.
French Broad Brewing, and then, there are sidewalks as you move further down towards the village, but I mean, even on London Road with Forestry Camp and Leash and the businesses there, the different jewelry. I mean, I got my wedding ring from the woman who has the jewelry store there on London Road. So I'm always going to these places, but I wish they were a little bit more accessible by foot.
And you came, from Brooklyn, and I came from Savannah. The bikeability, the walkability. I think that would really help, make this neighborhood bustling, and it already is, but in some bad ways, with the cars going too fast and feeling tight in traffic. And we talked about the Biltmore Village, and it's beautiful and there's great places, but it is very catered to shopping and high-end shopping. So what are some things you would love to see added to this neighborhood that you guys need as residents here? Services, businesses that I know you said you go to your mechanic across the street, which is great.
And we we try to do as much as we can in the neighborhood.
Right.
We take our dog to get groomed at Leash, mechanics in the neighborhood. The more we can walk, the happier we are. And, I was really happy when Daily Grind opened up in the apartment buildings there. That's great. And I know Well Bread is another great coffee shop, but I would love to have something just selfishly a little bit closer, like right on the corner of London and Sweeten Creek. I would love to see like another like breakfast spot, or I don't know, just more options that I feel cater more towards the people who live here rather than people who are visiting, which I also recognize is very important. And I can also get in my car and go to a different coffee shop and breakfast spot. But this is just from a place of selfishness that I do think would be nice.
Oh, yeah.
In a more broad sense as well.
Well, I have good news for you. Chauncey's, am I saying that right?
Chauncey's,
the coffee truck, right?
Yeah.
So this August, they are opening brunch only spot in that building right behind the food truck or the coffee truck.
Wow, that's amazing.
I know.
That's
I'm super
cool.
excited. I was just there the other last week, and they're working hard getting that spot open.
That's incredible. Wow,
brunch is
great
coming,
news.
sir.
Love that.
Yeah. But we talk about too the empty. There's empty buildings here. There's huge empty buildings, and some aren't savable. Some are, but that is something we'd like to see tackled. I know, as in this neighborhood. Why have any empty business? Any empty buildings? We would love businesses of all types to be thriving, and I think a store that's a real store like Essentials would be wonderful. You know?
A pharmacy.
Is there a farmer's market over here?
Not that I'm aware
That
of.
would be cool, like Seven Clans in the parking lot.
I could be wrong on that.
That's
I don't
okay.
know.
I don't know
I'd
either.
have to
But if
look
we
it
don't
up.
know and we're both here, that means
Right.
it's not well known, maybe.
Yeah, and I think there's just going to be so many more people moving here to live here soon, because what on Fairview Road, just after Village Pub, I think one of those lots is going to be turned into apartments.
Okay.
And I think that's probably going to happen on London Road too. So in the next couple of years, I imagine there's going to be an influx of actual like residents. And so maybe some of these open storefronts will get filled, which would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And thinking about, we share clientele because at Harmony we serve our custom audiovisual clients, and you're going into every type of house everywhere. So you're really seeing all the neighborhoods. You used to live in West Asheville. So we see the best parts of, for example, West Asheville, right? The walkability. I mean, the biking is still a little sketch, I think. Biking anywhere. But as you mentioned, the give and take with that is the beautiful surroundings we get to enjoy. So
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, the cool thing about working on pianos is you do get to see so many different neighborhoods and houses. And I mean, I'll go up to Hot Springs and tune some pianos there, and down to Hendersonville. I get to go all over and see so many different houses and communities and people, and the piano is just so ubiquitous kind of across all lines. And so by doing that, I think you can find more to appreciate as well. while still being able to complain like a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
sure,
we're just wanting improvements, right? And that's the whole point of the nonprofit is what can we do? What's possible? What's the vision? And I think you see the pictures of people walking with their dogs and pushing baby strollers and all of that. You want to see that. I think even the tourists want to see real people living here and being here. And that's part of the appeal. And, Asheville is small. So we want to feel each neighborhood having that kind of distinct personality, I think. And you guys were attracted to this space. I was attracted to this neighborhood for business. So tons of great things. But we're allowed to dream.
Yeah, I think sidewalks is a pretty easy. I mean, not easy, but okay ask. I feel like I don't feel bad thinking that sidewalks would be a great addition.
What do you think about my speed bumps idea? Do we need it on Sweeten Creek?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think if I would probably focus on sidewalks before the speed humps. If we only have so much concrete to work with, I'd put it in a little bit of sidewalks. But yeah, I mean, I think, even having sidewalks go all the way down to like to Devil's Foot, to the Mule,
absolutely,
to that hang. Like
they're doing so much great programming and events, and I think they're just going to keep adding stuff to the calendar. So. But like even from here, I wouldn't walk there, and it's next door pretty much.
Yeah.
And because there's that weird storage company, there's just things that make it feel. And people come off that highway still thinking like they're on the highway. I don't know what that is, but yeah. Slow down, y'all, on Sweeten Creek. So you also play in a band and get to travel, and you have that both sides. You get to play music and tune piano. So tell us a little bit about that life.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's always, since I started working on piano specifically in 2012, it's always kind of been a seesaw of playing music and working on the instruments. And I think being a musician who does tune and repair pianos has really helped, because I want to make the piano sound and feel how I would want to play it.
Yeah.
And so if I can do that for myself, I feel confident that the client will also be able to enjoy and appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, playing music has taken me all over. I played with a band called The Indications and been touring pretty regularly since 2017. And I played with the drummer of that, Aaron Fraser, and his project. And I have my own trio that we do work. And so, yeah, it's always been just a balancing act. And, if gigs fall off a little bit, then you can tune some more pianos and vice versa.
Yeah. I mean, do you get to play anywhere in the neighborhood? Is there anywhere to perform? Is there a venue?
Yeah,
here?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I've, even before moving here, I'd been through a couple of times playing at the old Mothlight, rest in peace.
Oh.
But I know the guy who booked that is now booking at Eulogy, and I played there, and that's awesome, and the booking there is fantastic. I've played the Grey Eagle a bunch of times, and yeah, playing with the guy Scott McMicken tonight, actually, at Grey Eagle with his band. So
awesome!
Probably after this gets released, but
that's okay. That's amazing.
Yeah,
but there's not a music venue except Haiku I Do in this neighborhood, right?
In this neighborhood, I mean, I do see that they have some folks playing outside on the patio at Village Pub every once in a while.
Okay, good.
And then at French Broad, they have a pretty regular music program. I think I know Thursdays is a Big Dead tribute, if I'm not mistaken.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, the more places to hang. I mean, even Hillman, I think, was having music, but the more places that's possible, I think, the better.
Yeah, and I mean, I would totally think that one of these older buildings, why not? Why couldn't it be a super cool music venue? I mean, losing Mothlight is
and now Different World too.
A Different World's gone. We actually just took the speakers down this week.
Really?
We had installed them, and it's going to be a real estate office.
Which I had heard tale of that.
I anytime a music venue goes down, I can't help it. It hurts a little bit. But I think with the history in this neighborhood and the opportunities, hey, maybe a music venue needs to happen.
Totally. Yeah, like a specific,
like Eulogy, or I mean,
totally.
Eulogy's super cool.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
Yeah.
And again, I think so much of a venue is just made by its booking and the bands that they have there. So
That's great to know that he's doing the booking.
Yeah, I forget his name, but he's fantastic.
And Forestry Cramp does some stuff sometimes.
Yeah,
they do
Burn
the big,
Pile.
Yeah, they do the big beer festival music.
Yeah, so I think, there are a lot of things happening. Like, we're making the best with what we've got. But if we are allowed to dream and imagine things, then there's a ton, I think, that we can want. A diner, a greasy spoon would be fantastic.
Yes.
So a lot to pine for without admonishing also what we have,
But I mean, starting a new family, are there things that you're like, okay, childcare, or just like we talked about, the stroller, walking down the sidewalk with a stroller?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are there things in the neighborhood you're thinking, where am I going to get that service or that?
That's a good question. I
guess you'll learn.
I don't know yet. I mean, this is our first child, so I don't know exactly what we're gonna need. But
I want to report back, because how is it going to be? How is it for a young child? Is there a playground? Is there all the things that you need? Raising a young one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to explore new parts of the city, places that I haven't had to go to before.
Right. Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. Do you want to add anything else, or any other dreams or thoughts, or?
I just thank you for having me. I really enjoyed talking about the piano business and what that's like, and knowing more about this area and trying to help build it to be the best it can be.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. Thanks, everyone.